Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
He's alive!
Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Where the Weird Ones Are. My name's Kevin. Today on the podcast, I have Ron. He's out of Indiana. He goes by Grave Evidence on both Instagram and TikTok. If you are interested, definitely give him a follow. He was a lovely person to talk to. He had a lot of stories. He was on Fearsome Top 5 on TikTok, where there's a video there with a door opening and shutting as he asks it to do so. The door opens. He asks it to shut. It shuts. He has a few stories that I found absolutely intriguing. My sister was not a part of this episode. She wasn't feeling well, so it is what it is. I do want to note that Ron's dogs do get a little rambunctious a couple times. I tried to edit it out, and I ended up just fucking up the video, so I'm just going to let it go organically. I don't think it's much of an issue anyway. He was very worried that it was going to be a problem. I don't really think it was. But in playing the video back, you do hear my voice coming through his end a lot, so it's almost like my voice has an echo a little bit. So I apologize about that if that's an issue. But yeah, if anybody out there has a story they want to share on my podcast, want to talk to me about it, get me on. My email is wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com, or follow my Instagram, and you can message me through there, where_the_weird_ones_are. I'm on YouTube, Where the Weird Ones Are. Just like, subscribe. You can message me on there, I believe, or at least comment. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody who actually listens and who enjoys the show. I definitely try to make it good. So I hope everyone is enjoying it. I'm not very tech savvy, so the production of it isn't phenomenal. Working on trying to get like a actual kind of studio within my house. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna be getting new microphones, so hopefully, hopefully the sound's a little bit better going forward. Anyways, I appreciate you all, and I hope you enjoy what Ron has to say today. What's up, everybody? This is Where the Weird Ones Are. I am your host, Kevin. Unfortunately, my sister Tanya will not be joining us. She's feeling a little bit under the weather, but the show must go on. Today on the podcast, we have Ron. He's a paranormal investigator. He's been doing it for a while. He's been doing it since the late 1800s. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. He's a wicked nice guy. I've had a couple conversations with him already. He seems really sweet. I am looking forward to talking to him and getting down into this, into his things. He was into the top 5 on Fearsome. What was it, Ron?
Fearsome top 5, yeah, on YouTube.
Fearsome top 5 on YouTube. It's a wicked creepy video. You should go check it out. Anyways, Ron, how you doing?
Not too bad. I can't complain. Nobody listens.
I hear you. Do you have anything that you want to plug before we get started?
Not really, no.
No? All right. Sounds good. So, what would you say was your first ever experience with the paranormal?
First ever? I was probably 7 years old, and we were all in the house. You know, it was late at night. My mom come in and made us all go into the bedroom because, you know, everybody's all freaking out. A neighbor had come over and said that her niece, my cousin, however you want to look at it, had been in an accident. And I heard some of it because I was 7 years old, you know, I'm a nosy little shit. But anyway, my mom made us, my sister and myself, go in the bedroom because she didn't want us to hear all of it. What had happened is my cousin she had a party, and long story short, there was a guy at the party that picked up a sawed-off 12 gauge and stuck it point blank under her chest and just blew everything out. Well, like I said, Mom made us go into the bedroom because she didn't want us to hear all the gory details.
Uh-huh.
And while I was in the bedroom playing, my sister was in her bedroom. My cousin came in the room and sat down on the bed and told me, I remember this quite vividly. I mean, she sat down right next to me on the bed and told me that everything was fine and she was not in pain anymore, and told me she got shot. Okay. And just about like that, the way she came in, she disappeared. Well, the next morning I come out and I sat on my mom's lap. You know, my mom was crying, and I told her it's okay. You know, I talked to her. She said it's fine. Okay. Now, first of all, I have to add that this was not something we talked about in my family.
Mm.
You know, that was taboo. You do not mess with spirits. That, you know, it was every spirit's a demon. But anyway, I climbed up in her lap and I told her, I said, it's okay. You know, she's not hurting anymore. And I know she got shot, but she says she doesn't feel the pain anymore. Well, my mom freaked out on me because I said that. She said, how did you know that? I said, because I talked to her. You know, and of course, long story short, I got beaten because you know, you don't talk about that kind of stuff in our family, but
Right.
But I did. I mean, I remember it. That was the first time. You know, I've always had little things like that happen to me, but I had tried to oppress it because it was, like I said, not allowed in my family.
Right. That must have been hard for you to open up and talk about it too, because of your mother's reaction to it.
Well, yeah,
At 7 years old.
Right. Because, well, I mean, that was at that time when I first brought it up. It wasn't a big deal to me. I mean, it didn't. You know, I didn't think much about it. I just thought, hey, you know, this is what happened. You know, I seen her. I talked to her. Well, after I got my ass whooped, yeah, it's not something I did freely anymore.
Right. Right. I mean, I can see where you'd want to kind of suppress all of that.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't blame you. 7 years old, and you see something like that, and you just want to tell your mother, and then, you know,
right,
she has that kind of reaction.
When she had came in, you know, and come in and sat down next to me, she wasn't in a death state or anything like that. I mean, she looked like you and I. You know, she sat down right next to me and told me that everything was okay. She doesn't hurt anymore and everything's going to be fine.
Were you close?
I kind of was, yeah.
Yeah.
Her son and I were real close. We were real close in age, you know, so they were every time she'd come over quite often and visit with my mom and drink coffee or whatnot. And her son and me would go outside and get in trouble.
Uh-huh.
You know, so yeah, we were kind of close with her.
Okay. So she wasn't transparent or anything like that. She looked like 100% solid.
Yep.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when she sat on the bed, and I do remember this because my mom told me that I was full of shit and that there's no way that this could have happened. When she sat on the bed moved.
Yeah. Okay. So you felt the weight of her sitting down on the bed. Yep.
Yep.
I had a similar experience, except I didn't actually see someone, and it was like last year or maybe 2 years ago now, where I was just laying in bed. I was on my stomach and I was facing away from my door, and I was looking right at my dog, and my dog lifted up her head, and she's just like she was looking at someone, and then I felt weight by my feet sink my bed. And then I just had this sensation that it was my uncle and that everything was all right. But I was like in a state of paralysis. I was like, I didn't want to move and I didn't want to turn my head to see if someone was there. But I knew nobody was there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah.
did they ever catch her killer? The person who shot her?
Yeah, he was walking around free before she was put in the ground.
That's wild.
Because there was illegal substances involved, and it's a long story.
I gotcha. So I would say, would you say that really like got you more interested in like trying to figure things out like within the paranormal?
Definitely. I mean, because mom told me that there was no way that I could have seen her, and I was just imagining it. Well, if I was imagining it, how did I know? You know, because I knew she told me she got shot.
Right.
That's not what mom told me. Mom told me she was in an accident. You know, and I've always like felt and heard things and turned to see it, and it would not be there. You know, it's always been there. But what really got me into the paranormal is about 6 years ago. I was cleaning out a garage on my second job, and this garage had a bunch of garbage and stuff stacked up on the walls. Well, took it all away from the back wall, and little did I know that was what was actually holding this garage up. It was a 14-foot by 17-foot garage, and it collapsed on me.
Oh no.
Well, I had to be dug out. It literally folded me in half right here. Broke my sternum, 3 ribs, and my back.
Oh wow. Okay, that's how your back got broke. I remember you telling me that last week.
That was I can no longer deny what I hear and see. So that really got me into the paranormal. I mean, I've always been into it, but that's what opened my eyes to say that it does exist, and that I'm not losing my mind.
Right. So like a near death. Do you think that was like a near death experience? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it punctured my lung. The rib that I broke, the top rib that I broke, punctured my lung too.
Oh, man, I'm sorry that happened.
It was rough.
I bet. I can imagine. I bet you the comeback from that was probably tough too, wasn't it?
It was long. Still, it honestly still is, because I have days, especially with this cold weather, you ain't getting me to do much.
Right.
You know?
I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't hold it against you either.
Right.
How does it feel to breathe?
I don't, unless when I'm cold, if my body's cold, then it's hard to breathe, because it's like I don't know if you've ever had a broken rib, but you can't breathe deep, you can't cough, and because of my back, I don't know. I guess it's because of my back, but if I'm cold, it's really hard to breathe. It's hard
Yeah.
to move. You know, it's you can't even laugh when that.
Oh man, that's got to be rough. I love to laugh.
Oh, I do too. I'd rather. Well, it's either laugh or cry, one or the two. You know.
Right. Right. You're either laughing or you're crying. So,
Definitely.
what's that?
I said you're definitely wanting to do one or the other.
That's true. So, have you happened to have any negative experiences?
Well, you know, I can't say that I've not had them, but I can't say that I've had full on negative experiences. I
Mhm.
mean, uh, well, I see I'm wrong on that too, because I was at Poasttown Elementary School in Middleton, Ohio. We had been there investigating that place. Well, uh, Rachel and I from FC Paranormal, because I belonged to FC Paranormal at that time, I was a member. We were setting up static cameras in the stairwell right off of the gym. Well, the batteries I know were charged in the cameras before we went, and of course, when we set them up, they were dead. So I was going back, back to the break room, I guess you would call it, to get the extra batteries to put in the cameras so they. Sorry. Shut up. No, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Stop. Abby. I was on the way back to the break room to get the batteries, and as I was going through the gymnasium, I felt off. You know, I knew I was walking into a negative. Well, it wasn't really a negative energy, but it was just a thick energy.
Mm.
You know, well, long story short, I got the spirit box out. I stopped and completely forgot what I was going to do because I felt that. And I'm listening to the spirit box, you know, and it's communicating with me. The K2 meter is going absolutely crazy, like the dog is making me right now. Happy. I am sorry.
It's okay.
So I'm sitting away from the stage in the gymnasium because it's got a stage up in the front. I'm sitting away from that where the spirit box and the K2 is at on a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Why wheelchair in the gym? I don't know, but that was there. So I'm sitting there and I'm communicating with them, you know, and they're calling me foul names and stuff out of the spirit box. And I have a video posted of it to where I'm holding my phone, showing the K2 meter up whatnot up on the stage, and you hear it actually hit me in the arm. I got a Charlie horse, you know, knuckled right in the arm. I had a bruise on my arm right here for a week, and there was nobody in that room, nobody but me.
Wow. That's crazy.
So yeah, I did have a negative experience. I've had a few of them if we're looking at them that way.
Right. So like almost not like super like messed up, but like a little bit of bodily harm or whatever, or
Yeah.
saying negative things, like, you know what I mean,
Well,
where they seem angry and whatnot.
I have dealt with a few that were angry,
Right.
you know, with poltergeists that were angry,
Mhm.
because they throw shit across the room or, you know, slam a door or, you know, there's a couple of instances that has happened.
Right.
You know, in my opinion, though, I believe Hollywood has got everybody thinking that, you know, every time you see a spirit, It's you see them in death state.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna knock on wood. Of course, now they're past, so they are in a sense in a death state, but you don't see them all horrorized. It's not skin hanging off. It's not anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
So
There was one time there was one time when I was a kid that I saw an actual spirit. Like this is the only time I specifically saw an actual like spirit that I know that I can confirm was a spirit. I was
yeah,
swinging on the swings. I think I was like 9 or 10, and there was a guy. This is a swing set in my grandparents' backyard, and
yeah,
I'm just swinging on the swing, and all of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye, thinking that it's just like one of my siblings or whatever, and I turn my head, and it's an older man,
yeah.
and he's just like wearing a suit and tie or whatever, and I can't remember. It's either he was eating ramen noodles or he was knitting. You know what I mean? Because I know it was something kind of like hangy that he had in his hands, and I was just like, what the hell? And he didn't look like an actual person. He was kind of like almost like a mist
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
And he just like turned his head and he looked at me. He goes, just be patient. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you'll know. And then like that, it was gone. He was gone. I was like, what the fuck was that shit? So that was my only like 100% encounter with a spirit.
No, doing what we do. It's nothing to see. I'm not saying anything against you, but it's
Right.
nothing to see a shadow,
Right.
and a mist figure like you're talking about, because that's basically the beginning of the manifestation of a spirit.
Yeah.
And 3/4 of the time, that's all you see is like an upper body. The rest is like that's where they get this sheep thing with, their bodies being like a
Yeah.
sheep, because
Yeah.
there's no actual there's a form, but no legs, none of that. It, every spirit that I've ever seen, or I have never seen one with true facial features. You know
No.
what I mean? No, I mean, you can see the face, you can see the nose, but where the eyes are at and nose and mouth, it's black.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's not possible, but this is my experience.
Right.
There's never been one that I've seen that I've actually made eye to eye contact,
Right.
because there's
So
nothing there.
right. So now that you say that, thinking of that, I don't even remember like what the guy. I just knew it was an old guy, but I can't remember thinking about it. I can't even like describe you his face. Like I can't even think what his face looked like. I just know he was an old guy. You know
Right.
what I mean? And what he was doing something with his hands, whether it was knitting or eating noodles. I don't really know.
Right.
But
That's
I experienced a lot around that period of time, and they say like when you're like in a certain state, like things will come to you more often than not, like especially trauma based, which
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of things back then. So with you having that situation with your aunt, right? It was your aunt, right?
cousin.
It was a cousin.
Yeah.
That situation with your cousin, and then you tell your mom, and then she reacts the way she reacted, and then you kind of like have this turmoil of, do I even say anything again? And I feel like that kind of like opens you up to maybe more instances and maybe more experiences, but then you also can look at it in another way where you could have just closed down too and never saw anything again.
And I honestly tried, and it seemed like the more I tried, the worse things got.
Yeah.
Because I would know things like she would lose her car keys or something, and I could tell her where she put them because that's what I was shown. You know, I'm not claiming to be a medium or nothing like that, but it's it's normal for me. You know, there's shit that I should not know. There's no way I should know it, but I do know it.
Right.
And it's not all the time, but it does happen.
Well, they
But-
say when you like start your like if you get on like a spiritual journey and you're more open to like things like that, your third eye starts to open and you can kind of see these things, not specifically like psychic or clairvoyant or whatever, but you tend to like you can kind of like catch things before they happen or something silly like that. And they also say that there's been a thing said that it goes along the lines with like reincarnation, where before we decide to live the next life, we look at it like a trailer.
Right.
So like that's where deja vu might come from. So like in like an instance where your mom lost her keys, maybe you saw that in the trailer before you chose to be Ron.
Right.
You know, and you saw it play out, and you're like, I think I'm gonna be that guy this time. You know what I mean? And then,
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that's exactly why you knew where her keys were, but it's something to think about, anyways.
Right. No, I agree with you. And that's why I say, you know, the more that would happen like that, the more I would get beat. So the more I would try and shut that off.
I gotcha.
You know, there for a long time, I did have it to where it was almost completely gone. But then when that garage fell on me and trapped me under or pinned me down underneath of it, I had to be dug out. That I couldn't suppress it anymore. You know, because of course that was, like I said, I'm 54 now, and that was 6 years ago. So, you know, I don't know. I guess what my point would be with that is you get the older you get, the number you get to society standards.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's only so much of it you take, and you know, I don't mean to go on a rant. I'm just saying that's
No, you can, dude. You if you want to rant, you rant. You are more than welcome to.
no, I'm no rant. No rant.
I mean, I'm not old by any means. Well, a lot of people say that I'm old, I guess, but I mean, I'm only in my 30s. But at this time and age, I don't want anything to do with what's going on outside.
Right.
So, I mean, you want to talk about conspiracies or whatever? There's so many that have been proven factual, and I'm so sick and tired of being called a theorist, because more than likely what I'm telling you is more factual than the bullshit that you're going with from the media.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly, because the media is covering everything up, bringing you over here when you should be over here.
Right.
You know,
because the news used to give you something to think about. They would present you with an issue, and then you could pick what you actually think about it. But now they're trying to tell you what to think.
Right, exactly.
And I forget the name of the bill, but when Obama was in office, he's the one that signed it. He put it in motion. So the media our media could lie to other countries, but they couldn't lie to our citizens. And then when Obama was in office, whatever bill it's called, he signed it, and now the media is 100% allowed to lie about everything they put out.
Yep. I know what you're talking about. I read about that. It wasn't long ago. I read about that. They could suggest that this was the truth, but they couldn't lie. Yeah.
Right. It's worded. Obviously, it's worded different in the documents and whatnot. But yeah, no, and a lot of people don't know that, which is crazy because a lot of people don't look at shit because they're more like, well, I don't want to talk about politics and
Right.
I don't want to get into it. I don't want to have that conversation. And people shut everything out. And then you're just like, well, if you listen, like you would know, you'd be more informed instead of being ignorant to everything that's fucking going on,
Right. Right.
and we could I think we would more likely come together if everybody looked into things. But I mean, again, we are human beings. We're all different. We all are going to have different opinions. We're all going to have different stories. We come from different backgrounds, no matter how you look at it. So
Yep.
we're always going to have something to disagree on, no matter what it is.
Right. It's free will.
Right. Exactly.
Free will.
So,
I did a thesis in high school on
Uh-huh.
the first 5 minutes of the news. You would not believe the depression that that is just traumatizing. If you actually sit and think about the first 5 minutes of the news, that is the worst thing you ever. That'll ruin you to listen to that every day, because it's all about this man shot this man, this guy was murdered, this guy was stabbed, this place was, the first 5 minutes is the headlines, and it's all negative drama. I was far from honor roll student in school, but it was just astonishing to me that much drama, negativity is spewed in the first 5 minutes of the news. I know we're way off subject with that, but I was just saying.
No, it's fine. The whole point of this podcast is, it's not only paranormal.
Right.
So I dive into conspiracies. My last episode with Dramessa, we actually got into some stuff that possibly a lot of people might have disagreed with, which I'm actually surprised that YouTube has kept that video up.
Yeah.
But there it doesn't have as many views as my other videos.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. You try and I'm not trying to save anybody. I'm just, I say shit just to make people think most of the time at this point. Like I got my hair cut today and they were talking about landing on the moon. I was like, we never landed on the moon.
Right.
And then one of the barbers was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, if you think about it, no. He's like, if you actually study everything, like he went into it. And then the other guys were like, the fuck?
Right. That's right. That whole theory with the American flag and whatnot, and how is it because there's no wind, and
and it's like so they lost contact with the ship before it landed on the moon, or before it left the atmosphere or whatever, but it was able to stream from the moon, video from the moon of him getting off of the craft, and have it stream to everybody in America who had a fucking TV at the time.
Right.
That's I mean, I don't know. A lot of people would be like, you're dumb, but it is what it is. If you actually think about it. And there's also said that our satellites are not in space. They're just in the sky. They're held up by balloons.
Yeah.
Hot air. Supposedly. I mean, I haven't looked into any of that, but I've heard people say it. So
right, the flat Earth theory.
Yeah, the flat Earth shit.
Yeah.
I'm not like married to that idea, but the possibility of a lot of things is just. I mean, I'm open to the idea, but I'm not married. I'm not like 100% like, yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Somebody gonna have to give me some solid proof before I believe it. all the way.
Right. And
mean,
to be
I-
honest, the flat earthers have more evidence of a flat earth than us people who believe in spirit.
Right.
So,
Right.
but then again, they're also saying that we are blocked in by a ice wall.
Right. I've read about that too.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I would love to talk to somebody who was who like knows all the facts, because it just hearing it just intrigues me so much. I just enjoy listening to people when they're that convicted on, they have that much of a conviction on something like that that's not like factual or known to be factual or what people think to be factual.
Right.
So,
Or not by society standards. I mean, I'll entertain it, but until I can have solid proof, I'm not going to say I believe it, nor am I going to say I disbelieve it.
right. Exactly.
Because
So,
there's no proof either way. So, which is the worst of the two evils?
right. So,
Dog.
have you ever, because I would not ever do this, but have you ever tried contacting spirits through the Ouija board?
I have, and I don't like them because of course you get the old saying that the planchette shot across the board. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that I've had happen, but it didn't shoot across the board. It scooted across the board and off the table and on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and see, but it's the same thing as a spirit box. Just a spirit box is electronic.
You think so?
I do. Because
so spirit box and the Ouija board, do you think, are both portals to the other side?
Yes, sir. You're opening the door.
Okay, that's interesting.
I firmly believe that because you're opening the door.
Right.
How else are they communicating with you? I couldn't think of the word.
It's okay.
Because it's not all just, it's not all that. Of course, now I'm not saying that there's not spirits around you all the time, because there is.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in certain ones. I'm not saying conjuring them up or whatever, but everybody has spirits that follow them. Be it family members, loved ones, whatever. They're always around you. In my
Like
belief.
the spirit guide stuff.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
In my belief, I'm saying, okay, I'm not be controversial, but everybody has them that follow them, and you're just not gonna. I don't know how to word this right. By turning on a spirit box is the same thing as putting your fingers on a planchette on a Ouija board. But the only difference is the spirit boxes were not made for 8-year-old kids. Like
That's a good
Ouija
point.
board was actually a game for an 8-year-old. Its age is 8 years old and up.
Yeah.
Can't buy cigarettes, but they can summon demons.
Yeah, and they still sell them like that too.
Yeah.
The Ouija board. I was actually episode 9. I was talking to Emily, and she was talking about a spirit board, and then right after I was like, "You ever fuck with a Ouija board?" And then I listening to it back when she was describing her spirit board. I was like, the spirit board she's talking about is a fucking Ouija board. And then right after she got done talking about it, I was like, "You ever fuck with a Ouija board?" I felt so fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, when I did mess with the Ouija board, it actually scared the shit out of me because I didn't know how to close it. Now I do know how to open and close that door.
You got to say goodbye, right, to close the Ouija board?
They must return from where they came, and you do have to say goodbye.
Yeah. Okay.
Not allowed to attach to anything. That's just spirit box is the same way. You know, in my belief, it's the same thing. You're
Okay.
opening the door.
How do you close the spirit box?
Same way.
If you say goodbye or whatever.
Yeah. Thank you for communicating with me. You must return from where you came. You're not allowed to attach to anything. You know, pretty much.
Right.
And I have a ritual that I do anyway before I go there. You know, I take an Epsom salt bath. I pray. I
Mhm.
pray while I'm there, and I pray when I leave. And when I get
Yeah.
home, I take an Epsom salt bath. I mean, maybe I'm silly for doing it that way, but I feel protected that way.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
it's all about intent, in
Yeah.
my opinion. You
So
know,
far, everyone that I've talked to that investigates does some sort of post ritual
you pretty much
before
have
they
to.
go home.
Yeah,
So
you pretty much have to. I mean, because it honestly is very real, and it honestly can cause very real problems.
mhm.
It's whatever, you know, because I'm not, I believe in attachments. You can get it. I mean, it's quite possible. Yes. If you're not strong willed, strong minded, the mind is a powerful thing when it comes to spirits.
Mm.
It actually is. Because if you know and believe in your head that this is the way it's going to be, this is the way it will be. Because you are you are body and soul. They are just soul,
Right.
you know. And a lot of
Well
people,
said, man. Well said. I like that.
well, I mean, it's just my beliefs anyway.
Right. I mean, I'm right there with you. So, um, have you ever astral projected?
No,
No. Are you
no,
interested in trying?
I I'm aware of it, and I did a little bit of research on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be honest with you, it scares the shit out of me because you know, I'm an overthinker to begin with, and it always, you know, worst case scenario has already been through my mind, and it usually is how it ends up, you know. And it'd be my luck, I'd get out there and somehow cut my cord and be lost,
Right.
you know.
That's my fear too.
Yeah, it really is, and I don't know that it ain't possible, but I don't want to try and find out.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. So let's talk about the video you have on the fearsome top 5 there with the door opening. What take take me through the whole like aspect of that, where you were, what led up to that point, and then all about um that happening.
Okay, we were doing a collaboration, and that was before it was FC Paranormal, and uh, Rachel was at that time, her name was My Haunted House Blog, and POV Paranormal was there. We were doing a collaboration with them, and I was just kind of like a tag along to see if I fit into the group, I guess, with Rachel. So we were at Indiana State Sanitarium, and that is on 160 plus acres. There's
Oh wow.
18 buildings on property. When we were there, there's 7 buildings that you can actually, that we got to see. We were there from 6 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning, and there was 7 buildings that we got to investigate. That's how big this place is. There's more buildings I never even seen.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, and it was just from the time we went through the gates, because it has this long winding road that goes up into the property itself, you know, with these wrought iron gates. Once you go through them gates, it was just ominous. You know, it was just heavy. You know, you could feel not so much the pain, but the sorrow
Mm.
going through the gates. And it stayed that way all night long. You know, and it didn't matter where you went, somebody was behind you. It felt like, you know how your hair stands up when somebody's staring at you from behind or
Oh
something.
yeah. Oh yeah.
that's the way it was the whole night. Well, to get through the door part, because that was later on in the evening, because we went through the housing complex, investigated that, and there was activity on the fifth. Well, there was activity everywhere. It didn't matter where. But where that actually happened at was in the superintendent's home of the whole hospital thing. And that home was built in 1922. So it's old. There's heavy doors, heavy wooden doors. Well, this glass door, when we walked in, I felt it when I walked in. And POV Paranormal had already had a music box set down in that doorway because that door was open. Well, the door, old heavy doors, after they set so long in one position, they get like a rough spot. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just move smoothly. It's like you got to pop it over that rough spot and then it'll shut. Okay, well, they set this music box down in the doorway, and I walked in and I felt around that doorway something was there. I knew it was there. I didn't know what, didn't know, negative, positive, didn't know what it was, but I felt it there. My hair will stand up when I'm around the spirit on my arms. I'm not saying it scares me because the living scare me worse than the dead, but I can feel when I'm around the energy because it's basically an energy. That's the best way I know to explain it. So Ernie and Brian are there and they're asking because that music box is going off and there's no reason for that music box to go off because there's nothing in front of it. They're asking the spirit to step away from that music box. And it just kept going. Well, they asked it 2 or 3 times. So I asked it to shut that music box off. And it shut the music box off. And I said, thank you for doing that. I said, can you do me a favor and turn it back on? And it turned it back on.
Wow.
Well, then let me backtrack just a little bit because when I first walked into that room through the kitchen into this, I guess it's like a dining room area. Real nice house. I mean, it's old, but it's beautiful. I first walked out of the kitchen into that dining room area and I looked at that door and I said, can you shut that door for me? Well, of course, nothing happened, because I wasn't really intending on it to happen, because that was when they set the music box down. But anyway, like I said, I asked them to turn that music box back on and the music box came back on. Of course, it wasn't instantaneous, you got to give it a second. And the music box came back on and I said, okay. I said, I know you're here. Thank you for showing me that you're here. I said, but can you shut that back off again? And that time it didn't shut off. Well, there was a noise off in the side, so it kind of got our attention over that way. And as I came back to looking at the music box, the door just goes like that and shuts.
Wow.
I was like, okay, and Ernie and Brian are kind of doing the wow thing, I can't believe that just happened, and we didn't ask for it this time. And I didn't say nothing because I did actually ask for it to do that, but it was earlier. So I said, okay, I said, now that you've shown us that, I said, can you do it again? Can you open that door back up? And no sooner than I said that door swung back open, and it swung open hard too. And there was no wind. I mean, of course, it was an exit. It was a door going outside to a screened in porch, but there was no wind to move that heavy ass door because it was one of the big heavy doors with a 8x8 or 6x6 glass windows all over it.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it's a heavy door. So it swings back open. And and it did this like 5 times as I asked it to. Of course, the music box wouldn't shut off. It just stayed going because, of course, with making the door open and close, there's obviously something standing in front of it. So, like I say, it did that 5 times as I asked it to. And then to skip forward, it did it one more time because after Ernie and Brian, we had moved upstairs and did a little bit of investigating up there, got a little bit more activity. And we come back downstairs and they had to leave because they had to work the next day. Well, Rachel and her husband had came into the house, and I was telling them about that door, doing that 5 times, opening and shutting as I asked it to. And actually, I've got a video posted of that as well. POVs got a clip off of their live. That's what actually made it to Fearsome Top 5 was their clip. Well,
Okay.
my live, every time my live would mess up that night on TikTok, I mean, because it would freeze and lag and it would carry on. Every time it did that, I got activity. Well, also at the end of the night, okay, I'm jumping around and I don't mean to.
That's okay.
At the end of the night, I went to check my live to see it because TikTok has a playback or replay option
Right.
where you download it and it told me that night that there was a error and none of it recorded.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I said too. But like I say, we're standing in there. Rachel comes back in and I'm telling her about the door. I'll get to what I was getting at with the live thing here in a minute. We come back in and we sit down. Rachel sits down right next to the door, and she's got her flashlight on the door because it's probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning now. She's sitting by the door and she's trying to get that door to move because I had told her it's still here. Where exactly in this room, I don't know, but it is here. So she's trying to get the door to move. And she says, okay, well, I'll tell you what, if you make this door move one more time, I'll leave. And she says, I'll take Ron with me. Well, nobody else could get that door to move as asked but me. And of course, she didn't get no reply, no nothing. So I said, if you move that door, you don't even have to shut it. Just move that door a little bit and I will leave. And no sooner than I finished the word leave, that door swung shut again.
Oh,
I said,
shit.
I'm gone. You made your point. I'm done. Out the door I went.
Nice.
6 times that door moved, actually, as I asked it to. But anyway, what I was getting at with the live, what I went into that long story on that about was because, as I said, it said that there was an error and it didn't record. 3 months later, we had went to Poasttown Elementary, and I'm back in the replay section of TikTok looking for the replay of Poasttown. Guess what shows up? My whole live
No shit.
from Indiana State Sanitarium. So now I'm posting the same videos, but at a different angle. So and I posted one, which it kind of didn't go far with the algorithm because people lose interest in things that are longer than 3 minutes. I don't know why, but it's the whole deal with that door, every bit of it, because that door, I had set a voice recorder down in that door because after, as it was moving and stuff, I said, okay, here, I want you to do one more thing for me. I said, I can hear you if you want to talk to me. And I set my voice recorder down in the door. Well, something happened in the back. It sounded like somebody hit a window or something. Okay. So the guys, Ernie and Brian, ran to the back to find out what it was. And I stayed up kind of by the door. And I thought, okay, well, now's a good time for me to check that voice recorder. So I bent down to go to grab that voice recorder, and that door slammed shut on my head. Knocked my hat off, all kinds of shit. It damn near got me in the head. I mean, it would have hurt too because that's a heavy ass door. But anyway, I've got that on the whole live. This 10-minute video that I posted. If you've not seen it, check it out.
I'm definitely going to now.
I think I actually posted it on both Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
It's the long one. and it's not really a good quality video because I had a cheap phone at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
but you can see everything that's going on. And I bring the flashlight up once it starts really happening, so you can actually see the door. And like I said, there's two videos of the same thing, but in different angles. So, man, you wouldn't believe the haters that I got. Oh, why are you paying that much attention to the door? It's got to have vision line on it or whatever. And I thought,
Really?
your opinion is not necessary. Goodbye.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
How
because
dare you pay attention to something that was actually happening?
right. No, I'm faking it. I'm just trying to get views.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, I'm sure.
I give two shits about the views. you know, I just
I
want
hear
to.
you. I hear you there.
I just want to prove that this actually is happening. Hey,
Right.
look, this is what I saw.
So,
That was
do
an
you
extreme.
think that for whatever reason, this spirit or entity had like an issue with you personally?
I believe it was sizing me up, to be
Mm,
honest with you, because there's a little bit more to this story. Because I've got still pictures of screenshots basically out of the video of them while they're filming me, and I'm standing up by the door, and there's shadows in these screenshots. One of them is actually on my back, and it's a silhouette. You can see the whole body.
uh-huh.
Okay, what I'm getting to on that now is after this happened for almost 2 months, I had, I'm not going to say nightmares about that place. I saw this place as it was alive.
No way.
Yes, and vivid. I seen this place operate. There was a head nurse there. Okay, this is more of the story of this. There was a head nurse there. I seen her just like I'm looking at you right now. I
Mm-hmm.
seen her leg. She had the silly little nurse hat. Good looking woman, gorgeous woman, long legs. I mean, really pretty. And her name tag said Doris, but she was evil. She was just flat friggin' evil. And like I said, 2 months I went through this kind of stuff. It was like somebody took me there and showed me. I was protected. I wasn't, I was there, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody seen, nor could anything bad happen to me. I felt comfortable with watching it, if that makes any damn sense. Because this woman was evil. I seen this woman. She was the head nurse, and I seen this woman go to what they called the common room on the third floor, and there was a emaciated younger guy sitting in the chair. I mean, what he looked like to me is he was right at the death's doorstep. I mean, he was just sitting in the chair. Well, she told him to get up and go to his room, and he wouldn't do it. She grabbed him by the ankle and drug his ass out of the chair, down the hallway, threw him in the room, shut the door, locked the door, walked off giggling, straightening her dress out. Okay. This is one of the things that I've seen. I mean, just pure evil shit that I've seen happen there. And there's no doubt in my mind that that actually did, because it was an asylum.
Right.
It started out as a tuberculosis hospital. Then they closed the tuberculosis down because they found cures for it, and they changed it into a nursing home, like a state hospital type thing,
Mm-hmm.
poorhouse, whatever, because it was all self-contained. It everything was there. They had the powerhouse, they had the water tower, they had everything. It was all self-contained. But they turned it into a nursing home. The state refunded it as a state-owned nursing home. Okay, well then another part of Indiana, there was another asylum up here in Westville, Indiana, that they closed down, and they had criminally insane patients in there. Well, instead of sending them elsewhere, they repurposed Indiana State Sanitarium from the nursing home back into a sanitarium. Or I shouldn't say back into, they made it a sanitarium.
Okay.
And they brought all of the criminally insane mental patients from that hospital in Westville and shipped them to there, which is down in, I can't think of, good Lord, I got the card right here. Established in 1908. Shit, it doesn't say what state it, or I know what state it's in, but I mean, what county. Well, no, it. Anyway, it's down by Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah.
It's like west of Indian, straight over west from Indianapolis, and Westville is up in the top left corner of Indiana. Well, they closed that hospital and moved them all down there. So then it was a dual purpose. It was a end-of-life care home, nursing home, and a sanitarium, both.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this place was just, and there's no records anywhere, public record on this place. And you know as well as I do, any municipal owned facility, which is meaning state run
Right.
facility, has paperwork on everything. If they bought potatoes from Joe Farmer down the road, there is a requisition order, there is a purchase order. I mean, there's paperwork.
Right.
And there's none to be found on the Indiana State Sanitarium.
Wow. That smells like cover up to me.
Yeah.
Of some kind.
I mean, I spent, God, I think I spent almost a week digging, trying to find, before we went there, trying to find any information that I could find on that place, and there was none. What could be found had to be court ordered to view.
Really?
Yeah, there was very little of that. I mean, I did find a couple newspaper clippings from 1922.
Yep.
There was nothing that said anything. And there had to be abuse, and there had to be write-ups and stuff.
Oh my God! Back in those days, with any place like that, there was abuse, there was actual murders in a lot of places. Like there was a couple places up here where I'm in. I live in Maine. And they actually just tore down an insane asylum or sanitarium, whatever. I can't remember the exact. You know what I mean? But they actually just tore it down and completely. Like the building had stood for so long unmaintained and everything, and there's said to be so much. I haven't looked into it, but I've heard stories that there was a couple murders inside the building, or at least unexplainable deaths, I should say. Maybe not 100% factual murder, but unexplainable deaths for sure.
Well, and you got to figure with that being a tuberculosis hospital,
yeah,
that was back before they had actual cure, so they're experimenting. The people that died from the experiments on that, there's said to be over 4,000 deaths on that property.
Wow.
I mean, this place was the type of place where, of course, back then you could get away with it too when it was a state home. If a wife got lippy with her husband could take her and drop her off there, and there ain't a damn thing she could do about it. And once she's inside them gates, she's never coming back out.
Jeez.
Really. And this is, like I said, almost 2 months I had these kind of dreams about this. Okay. And Rachel had went back to Indiana State Sanitarium again after I told her all this stuff, and that was what got her to go back, because I told her what I saw in my dreams. Okay. And I told her about Doris and, the things that I seen that she had actually done. Well, there was some records on site there, and she got kind of nosy, and was kind of
naturally.
Right. Well, I mean, Indiana, when they closed Indiana State Sanitarium, the drawers in the building, in the nightstands and stuff, still have clothes in them right now.
Wow, really? So they like up and left in a hurry kind of thing, huh?
They moved all the patients out and locked the doors. They
Mm,
didn't take none of the belongings, and it's still that way. I mean, they may have cleaned it up and organized it a little bit better or whatnot, but it's still that way. The dressers still have clothes in the drawers and personal belongings.
huh.
But anyway, she had gotten a little bit nosing into like the nurses station and stuff, and because all the clipboards and the orders, the daily orders or whatever, are all laying there still. She had dug through some of them, and she found a write-up on a CNA. And the head nurse that signed that write-up, guess what her name was?
Oh no, you fucking kidding me.
I am dead serious. Her
What
name
the
was
fuck?
her name was Doris. And
No shit.
I never seen any of that paperwork. I seen her. That's what I seen. Like I say, it was definitely an experience that I will never forget.
I, I wouldn't either.
And not okay. Now when we were saying something about the negative, okay. Do I believe that I could have had an attachment from that facility? Yes, I do,
Yeah,
because I had dreams about it for 2 months.
right. Did you do a cleanse before you had gone home?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did, and see, this is why I think I seen it the way I did see it, because it was like I was there, but I wasn't there. If that
Right.
makes any sense. I'm third party watching.
Mm-hmm.
She actually walked through me one time in a dream. I'm standing in a hallway, and she's talking to another nurse walking down the hallway, and just turns and looks straight ahead like she looked right at me, but I wasn't there, and walked right straight through me. That actually woke me up out of my sleep, out of that dream,
Uh,
because it was like it was almost a slime feel, like I was in mud or something.
ugh.
That's what woke me up, because I sat straight up out of bed, and I don't know how to explain that feeling, to be honest with you, but it was definitely something else.
So you were seeing it like Scrooge does in A Christmas Carol when the ghosts come and collect him and they take him to these places. So he's watching it. He's there, but they don't know he's there, and they can walk through him and whatever. So
Right.
wow, that's super interesting. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
It was,
wild.
and from what I've seen, because there was a lot of people that went to Indiana State Sanitarium after we did,
Mm-hmm.
and what I've seen, that place has really gotten dark now.
Dark,
Dark.
really.
And my explanation on that is, I believe, because not everybody protects themselves,
Yeah.
and I believe that they have brought something to that place, because it is a portal. It definitely is, with all the blood that was spilt on that property.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you there's a portal. So I believe that either they brought something in from there, or they brought something to there. But that place has definitely gotten dark, because it's like they size you up.
Yeah.
They're around you, and you can tell they're around you. It's like you look down one hallway and you feel somebody behind you, so you turn around and you go back that way, and then now they're behind you on the other end again.
Uh-huh.
That's just the way it felt.
Right.
You know. Yeah,
So you haven't been back then.
I have not been back, but Rachel, FC Paranormal, has went back, and
Mhm.
there's been a lot of people that I do know. Ghostly Travels with Zach, POV's been back, Unfortunate Travels, all of them. Them are all friends of mine, and they've all been back there. And And they've even said that it seemed like it's gotten heavier there, a
Oh,
darker presence.
oh
Yeah, it's
man, that's wild. I kind of want to go there now.
it is definitely an experience. I mean to tell you that it's because they're the equipment now that they're using is so much different than what it was when I started.
Hmm.
And like tripwires and shit like that. I would love to have a tripwire
That would be
because
great. Yeah.
right, that's like a REM pod, but it's on a cable. But
um, what was your latest investigation?
uh, since the latest one I've been to actually is not. Well, it's still an investigation. I have a big cemetery not too far from me that I go to, and walk around with a spirit box and talk to whoever wants to talk to me, you know,
Yeah.
which I do. I do get a lot of responses, but it's
Okay.
not like you get, a REM pod or, something like that going off.
All right. That's cool. Do you go there often?
I I've been there probably 5 or 6 times in the last 2 months, 3 months,
Right. That's
because
cool.
well, the reason why I'm doing that is because it's close and it's free.
Right.
It costs so much to rent one of these places out to investigate.
Yeah. I can imagine.
It's crazy.
I've never been on an act like a 100% investigation. I've gone into like the cemetery down the street from me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I've never like went like on a real investigation.
No,
So I would like
it,
to sometime. Maybe someday.
in my opinion, it's something you got to experience one time.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you're a non-believer, it'll make you a believer.
Oh,
You know,
I believe it.
it is such an adrenaline rush. Shut up, dog.
I heard a story from a guy that started working with an investigation group, and he
Yeah.
was like 100% like, I'm not like, I don't believe any of this shit. He started as like a cameraman or something like that, and he was just doing it for the money. And um I think he was maybe about a month into it, and he's like, yeah, there's some shit.
Yeah. It don't take long to once you start getting into these places that are genuinely certifiably haunted, you'll become a believer real quick.
Oh, I believe it.
You know, it's because it happens,
Right.
and
So,
it's when you don't expect it. It's like they get you at your weak spot.
yeah.
That's when it happens,
Yeah, surprise. Surprise, I'm here, motherfucker.
right? Hello, how you doing?
Would you the instance that you had with your cousin where she was basically just trying to put you at ease, I would say that was like a positive experience, right?
Yeah.
All right. Have you had any other positive experiences in that sort of sense?
Uh, no, I can't really. Not in like direct family
Right.
to me. I mean, I've had positive experiences with replies on the spirit box and, being out somewhere.
Yep.
But as far as like family goes, no, I can't say I have.
Okay.
It's not all, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's negative every time I
Right.
do get activity, you know, it's because I don't accept negativity. I mean, it's there, but you have to. I guess basically what I mean by that is if you got a don't give a damn attitude, you're going to get it,
Right.
you know. And I don't accept that. I because you really have to realize the spirit was once human. And if it's strong enough to move something or shut a door or something like that, that shows that the brain is still. Are you serious?
Damn dog.
Right, right. I'm sorry about all that.
No, it's totally fine.
But that shows that there's an active mind. You know, if it has the thinking to move something or shut a door, there's some kind of thinking there. So that means that you're not dealing with a residual or something like that, and you should respect it as you would want to be respected. That's the way I always treat anything that I get that actually answers a question to me, or shows me that it's actually there.
Yeah,
I treat it with respect, because as it was, because like I said, it was once human.
right. So you
Basically,
don't, because a lot of people believe that all spirits are demons. So
yes.
obviously you don't believe that.
No, I don't, because
Okay.
it's not true, and that's my opinion.
Right. And you're 100% entitled to that.
Exactly.
And whether I disagree with you or not doesn't really matter, but I agree with you.
Right.
So
Right.
just based off the experience I had when I was 9.
Well, I mean, the all spirits are demons thing that's based off of man-made religion.
That's true. That is true.
Because that I won't go into that, because that's definitely controversial.
That is controversial.
I'll stop where I'm at then. Everybody has their own religion.
So do you think do you believe in interdimensions? Do you think that spirits possibly or are interdimensional beings?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I don't believe that there is such a thing as time for them, because everybody thinks, oh yeah, you gotta investigate in the dark. No, you don't. I get just as much activity in the middle of the day as I will at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
There again, I think that's something that Hollywood is glorified.
Yep. Well,
Because
the devil lives in Hollywood, and I'll say that until the fucking day I stop breathing.
actually, he did for a while. What was his name? Anton LaVey.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say he's the devil, but he was a devil worshiper, and he lived in Hollywood. You don't watch?
Oh, okay.
Don't believe in Zach Bagans?
He I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
I'll bite my tongue.
Okay.
That's crucial too.
Yeah, I've heard some things about him, but I've actually have a woman who is a tour guide at one of his museums on my Instagram, and I had talked to her a little bit about what she does, and I asked her to come on to the podcast, but to talk about her experiences, and because I'm assuming that most of her experiences are inside the museum.
Right.
So she was like, I have to talk to my boss to make sure that it's okay.
Right.
So, and I haven't heard from her since. So I'm assuming that it's not okay for her to talk about publicly.
Right.
Because probably I would assume like it would give away some things that go that are inside the museum or whatever that they want you to pay for and whatever. Which I get it. It's a business. So
copyright infringement.
Yeah, pretty much. So, what would you say is your favorite tool for investigations? Like what do you would it be the spirit box?
I do use the spirit box often, yes.
Yeah.
And
they don't know when to shut up.
Shut up.
Oh my goodness.
I am
They little
sorry.
dogs.
Yeah, dash hounds.
Yeah, dash. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, they think they're Rottweilers and mice body.
I used to have a little dog too. He wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's the way these are. You let a damn leaf fly past the window, they go ape shit.
Yeah.
All it takes.
I love dogs, but sometimes they're too mouthy,
Shut up, damn it.
you know.
Damn it.
You gotta wait for them to calm down.
Yeah. I think they'll quit now. Because we had the big dog in the bedroom, so because they get a little rambunctious and tear the house up and shit, and bark
Yeah.
and get with each other. Well, he was in the bedroom. Well, he just come out of the bedroom. That's why they're crazy. Stop. That's why they're being.
That's why they're getting mouthy. Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, just like they got to say hello to him, you know.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I have a dog too.
I ain't seen you in forever. Where you been?
Where were you for the past half hour?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say the spirit box is my favorite. I mean, actually, I got another one too that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Instead of cat balls, my daughter got it for me for my birthday.
Oh wow.
This is motion activated.
That's awesome. I gotcha. Yeah.
You know, that cat balls are expensive, and that's basically a motion activated. You know, they light up, and that's how you know. You see a lot of people use cat balls. You know, they'll set them on the ground. Well, actually, here's a cat ball right here. That's a cat ball. You know,
Oh, wow.
See?
Yeah.
This thing does the same thing, but I think it's cooler.
It is pretty cool.
You know, I not had a chance to use that yet, but my daughter seen it at Dollar Tree, and it cost $1.25. So, and them cat balls, you can't buy a cat ball for $1.25.
No, how much are they?
I think it's like $12 for 3.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're kind of salty. A ghost hunting equipment is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
You know, ghost hunting is actually a really expensive hobby.
Yeah, I was actually looking into Envoy just out of curiosity online about how much it was, and I think it was like, I don't know, somewhere between $30 to $60, and it's just like this little electronic thing. And I mean, I get it. It takes, you got time and material to make this shit. So, but
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, maybe investigating isn't for me.
You know, the bad thing about that is you buy that toy.
Yeah.
And I say toy because it's pretty much just something that, you know, you get to play with, because of course the spirits are what activated or whatever, but
Right.
it's still a toy for you because
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is okay proof. But you'll buy that and you won't always get activity off of it. You know, they don't always activate, or I can't think of the word. I'm not going to say so much that they don't know how to use it, but like you'll have a cat ball per se, that cat ball and this witch.
Yeah.
Okay, now this witch may not move, may not do anything, and the cat
Mhm.
ball could stand right in front of it. The cat ball will go off, but not the witch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's like the music boxes and stuff like that. You know, and some equipment you'll get all kinds of activity on, and some you won't. And you know, and it's like you'll go one place, and that's the way it'll go. This equipment won't do anything, but this will. You go to another place and it's just the opposite. You know, it's like they don't know how to use that certain piece of equipment or something. You know,
Right.
it's easy. Whatever's easiest for them is what I'm getting at. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's because no, I've not been to two places that were the same
Mm-hmm.
as far as what equipment went off.
Right.
You know, it's always different, and the responses are always different.
I can see that.
You know.
Yeah. So I saw one of the before or right when I started following you on Instagram. I had saw a video of you talking about you were meeting with a medium.
Yes, that was for my birthday live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd that go?
It went really well. I've been a moderator for her for almost 2 years on TikTok. You know,
Okay.
and so she's actually a really close friend. She has sent me, I don't know how many crystals. I mean, she sent me a small fortune in crystals. I've got
Wow.
crystals over in front of me. I mean, I've got obsidian, I've got everything. Labradorite, I've got quartz, I've got smoky quartz, and it's all from her.
Uh-huh.
You know, she is an awesome person. And like I say, I've been a moderator for her for 2 years on TikTok, and I have not seen her wrong.
Nice.
She remote views, yeah, she remote views. She does all that kind of stuff. She helps find missing people. She's a real one. You know, she really is. Really good person. She's the one that set that up, that video that I had made,
Yeah.
you know, for them to come in and gift me or whatever for my birthday, which turned out really good. I mean, I never expected that much. I figured, you know, maybe $24 in gifts or something, and I ended up making like 300.
Wow.
Yeah, just from people coming in the live and gifting. It really, and you know, don't get me wrong, I've met some really good people on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok and on Instagram. You know,
Yeah.
Stop. It was honestly. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Shit happens, you know?
Yeah, my luck though. Damn it.
It's all right. It's totally fine. I could probably maybe edit that out, maybe if I can figure that out. I'm not quite 100% tech savvy yet on this stuff yet, so I haven't quite figured out a lot of it. But
Right. And see, you know, here coming up to this, I've been thinking about this, thinking, man, I hope the hell I don't tank this or the dogs go ape shit. You know, and I just knew somebody was going to come to the door and knock on the door, and they're going to go ape shit, and you know,
yeah, it's all right
and,
though. It's
you
all
know,
right. You know, I'm
I
just
still,
starting out anyway, so I don't even really think I have much of a following yet. Anyway,
well, you
not that that matters, but like, I mean,
right.
I don't even think that they were even loud enough to really come through that much. You know what I'm saying? So I think we'll be all right. And I don't know, but the story you just told, maybe this maybe I'll get a couple more people be like, who else is he gonna talk to? You know, because just from the asylum, the sanitarium, that whole story, dude, that you like, I was into it just listening to you, so that was pretty awesome. I was super intrigued.
And it was, I mean, there was more from that place that was that way. It wasn't just that one. That whole evening was
Right.
just unreal. I mean, everybody's, because they're looking at me on live, and Ernie and Brian from POV, they're over there jumping and hollering and shit while I'm walking towards it. Just call me walking towards that door. what are you doing, man? How come you're not freaking out on this? Well, my reasoning with that is you expect it, you know, you go looking for it. You can't freak out when you get it.
Right.
You know, what is the point of freaking out when it happens? That's what you wanted to happen.
Mhm.
Why are you freaking out? You know it's going to happen. Why are you freaking out?
Right. 9 times out of 10, that's nothing. It's nothing that's gonna harm you. So
No, right. I agree. And that really goes with your personal beliefs. You know, if you believe, like I said earlier, your mind is strong, and it
yes.
honestly, your mind is actually the biggest tool you need doing this, because you have to know what you're doing. You not so much know what you're doing as far as ghost hunting is, know where you stand, where what plane are you on compared to them? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to touch me. Okay, that's you have to know that though. You can't just say that and think about the price of gas getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you put that in your mind, you have to believe that, and you have
Right.
to stand firm on that. You know, because and there's a lot of people that don't do that. You know, that they see people on TikTok or something with a spirit box, and they're getting replies, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy me a $100 spirit box and get the same thing." Well,
Right.
no, don't do that. You know, that goes right back to the Ouija board thing. You know,
Uh-huh.
don't buy $20 game or $30 game, whatever a Ouija board costs now, if you don't know how to close it. And we can all open it, but not everyone
Right.
close it.
But yeah, I believe that as the 100%. Like it has to. A lot of it has to do with intent.
Right. It's all intent. You know, that's why
So
it's me.
I'm
You have,
also in line with you where I'm more afraid of the living than I am the dead.
exactly, exactly. You know, because you don't never hear about a ghost stabbing somebody. I mean, or shooting somebody or something like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm more afraid of the harm that a human can cause than a ghost.
Right.
You know, because usually a ghost, if you're getting activity from a ghost, there's a story that needs to be told. There's a reason why that ghost is trying to talk to you or whatever. This is my belief. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people can say no, whatever, but this is my belief. You know, there's a reason why they're trying to contact you, and it ain't about your car insurance either.
Your car's extended warranty.
Extended warranty. Yeah, right.
We've been trying to reach you.
Oh, that went up my nose.
Jeez. You all right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, root beer's not something to snort. Just so public service announcement. Don't try that at home.
Oh man. So I have one more question for you.
I didn't do it.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Do I believe in Bigfoot? I don't know so much as I would say Bigfoot, but I believe in elementals. Okay. And I guess you would say that that would be what Bigfoot is, because you always hear stories about it being in the woods or whatnot, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's evasive, and there's not very many people actually have video proof of a elemental either.
Right.
So yes, I do believe it,
Okay. And
but
I would say you've never encountered anything like it then.
no, no.
Okay.
Of course, I've not went out in the woods looking for anything like that either. I mean, usually when I go out there, it's for rabbit or something like that, you know. And of course, that's been years too since I've been hunting. So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
almost went hunting this year, but I just had too much going on
yeah,
personally, so I never ended up getting out there, but hunting is nice. I like being out in nature, just no matter what I'm doing, whether it's hunting, hiking, whatever. Just connecting with mother is like
Exactly.
soothing. It's good for you. You feel depressed or whatever. It's always good to be outside for you. I mean,
Right.
we are meant to be outside anyway.
Exactly. Well, that goes right back to spirituality right there, because then you're grounding, releasing negativity and everything else,
Yeah.
clearing your mind. And I believe that in that too. I was raised on 24 acres, and it was all farm. We
Yeah.
had rabbits, we did all that, squirrels, deer, all that, hunting, fishing, every bit of that. And I believe it's definitely needed
Right.
to cleanse your soul, honestly.
I believe it.
Don't mean to sound silly or whatever with that, but
You don't sound silly to me at all.
well, but that's what I mean. It's because they tell you to ground, to walk barefooted in the grass or whatever,
Hmm.
signifies leaning against a tree, because the tree roots go deep into the ground, and takes all the negativity and puts it right back into the ground. Well, I believe in all that,
Right.
and I honestly believe it helps. I shouldn't say I believe it helps. I know it helps. It helps me anyway.
Yeah. No, it helps me too. I mean, there's a thing that goes along with that. If you look at the trees and the way their branches grow, and then you look at the roots, and then you look at a human body, and you get rid of everything except for the veins. Our veins in the tree root system and everything, they all look similar.
Right, right.
So we come from the earth, we return to it.
Exactly.
So that's Earth is mother.
Right. I don't know so much that I agree with the videos that they got out there of the trees touching people because they asked them to or whatnot. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't believe it, but I believe if that is the case, that you've got an elemental that close to you,
Mm.
then there's too much negativity in somebody's life.
I don't think I've seen any of those videos.
Oh, there's a couple of them floating around on TikTok where they've got people talking to a tree, and if you can hear me, reach out and touch me, and it's like the limb just kind of moves over and touches their shoulder.
Huh.
I don't know.
I'd have to look into that. That's interesting.
It is interesting, but I don't know so much that I believe that it's real.
Right. I mean, it could be easily faked. So
yeah, it could.
I mean, a lot of things could easily be faked to begin with. So
yeah,
but
I agree.
So you have any closing statements you wanna say? Anything? You don't want to plug your TikToks or your Instagram or anything?
Grave evidence. That's
grave evidence on everything, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, TikTok and Instagram both are. I don't have a whole lot of videos. I mean, I've got Post Town Elementary videos posted and in Indiana State Sanitarium, but there's not a lot on Indiana State Sanitarium. There's
Okay.
pretty much just the superintendent's home, which is where the door was. That was actually really what I sent you, the video of that door. That's pretty much all that I really have from Indiana State Sanitarium, because until today, I just got this. I've got my static cameras, but I didn't have a SD reader,
Mm.
Memory card reader. So I had no way to get the videos off of the static.
I gotcha.
They're still on the memory cards. I've got a laptop, but it doesn't have a memory card slot.
Of course it doesn't. God damn it. Just your luck.
Right. That's what I get for not spending the extra $50 to get the laptop I wanted, and
Right.
got the cheaper one because I thought, oh, well, this has got everything I need. No, it don't. No, it don't. cheaper is not always better.
You are accurate in that statement. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I mean, check me out on Instagram and TikTok, Grave Evidence. I mean, I don't have a lot, but there is some, and what is there is real, I promise.
Okay. Good. Well, you heard it here. This is where the weird ones are. I'm Kevin. If you have a story you want to tell, or if you want to just talk to me, just like Ron, about investigations or anything, any kind of experiences, whether you've seen Bigfoot, you've been abducted by aliens, all that weird shit, hit me up on my Instagram. It's where_the_weirdones_are. Email me at wheretheweirdonesare@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Ron, it was lovely to talk to you, man. I really appreciate the stories, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and talk with me, man.
I appreciate you having me. Honestly do.
And I'll have you again if you get any more investigations.
Awesome.
All right, man.
I plan on doing it.
Good.
I'm not.
Left the land of where the weird ones are. You've crossed through multiple dimensions. You've traveled through space and time. You have arrived back to your destination, where time isn't even real. And everything you see is a figment of your imagination.